Welcome to Vibrant Numerals, where we explore and read the vibrations of the world around us using numerology, astrology, and more, and work to apply it to our everyday life. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video, we're going to talk about the vibrations for November 2025. So far this year, we've had a very high energetic 2025. And I'm sure that we're going to need to come back to these videos probably for years to come to better understand what we were experiencing at this time and really to feel these vibrations differently after they've been integrated and we're no longer in them. So, one good thing about November 2025 is this is the first time this year where we're getting a little bit of a break in the vibrational cycles. So, from January into September of 2025, we've been in this 9 cycle of the months where it's been building up all of this energy, really big energy that's been happening. We've seen this big energy really impacting our lives, our relationships. We've been seeing it in the weather, in the earth activities, and also in the astrological space. And then it culminated in September, where September was all of this 9 energy. So it was all of this builds up energy, and then September is filtering stuff out, getting rid of the energy or the impurities within the energy. So then that good pure energy could be shifted into October. We saw a rush of brand new energy that came into October 2025. And then we're now going to be stepping into November 2025. And this is the first time where we are not in this cycle. So even with October, we had the 9 energy coming into October at that 9 position in the 19, and then enhancing the 1 energy of the whole month of October. Here in November, when we actually do the numerology, November is resonating at a 2 vibration, but it's not coming from an 11. So this is the first time where the positioning of the month is not fully matching with the vibration of that month. And this gives us a little bit of a break because then the energy is not as intense. It is more really about mixing and integrating the energies, which is what we very much need. So we did have in October, we had a 10 that had the 0, the God, the universal energy. We have that again here in November, but we don't have to worry about this energy because when we have the 0, this is the 1 energy that we cannot control. And it's coming straight from the universe. It's coming straight from God to just enhance that other vibration of the 2. The other thing is a lot of times 2 energy is really hard to work with because we tend to have to go from an 11 to a 2. Here we're not going from an 11 to a 2. It's difficult when we're going from an 11 to a 2 because the 11 being a master number and being amplified, it's harder to move and to understand that you need to move from this amplified vibration into a vibration that is calmer. It's not that 1 is stronger or better than the other. 2 is just calmer because it's taking all of that amplified energy of the 11 and bringing it together in a calmer state. Lucky for us, we only have two energy in November 2025. We don't have the 11. So this means that November really is about the integration that is happening. We've also seen all throughout this year that we've had a lot of polarization in every space. So, a lot of separation of sides and a need to kind of let those two extremes duke it out and figure out how to not get caught up at one extreme or the other. Um, and so here in November, because we'll be in this two energy, we really get to integrate all that we have experienced thus far with the polarization, anything with duality, and also with all of the new energy that's coming in. We don't necessarily have new energy flowing in like we did in October. Um, and so we're getting to integrate that energy. And so this too will really help us to integrate the energy and not feel like we're getting pulled one way or another. So hopefully this can give us a little bit of a reprieve from this very energetic year. So we do have some 9 cycles for November. And so I would suggest that we use these 9 cycles in a couple of different ways. We do want to continue to use our 9 cycles in this 9 year of 2025 to push the goals and the intentions that we set in January through the whole year. So we can use them for that. We can also use them for smaller goals or for smaller steps within a bigger goal. What I would suggest and what I'm going to use these 9 cycles for is really getting back to that integration. So, getting the energy integrated. So, using these 9 cycles to build up that energy of integration. And what I mean by that is like using the one as a time to reflect on the new energy that has come in and how can you integrate it into your life. Using the two to understand what polarizations have happened, where have we seen dualism kind of rear its head in our life, and how can we integrate it in a way where it's not causing chaos. And then continue through. Where have we seen growth for the 3? Where have we seen a change in our foundations or stability for the 4? Where have we seen the biggest changes for the 5? What comfort zones have shifted and changed for 6? What actions have we taken or should we have taken when we think about 7? What energy has come back to us? What has been that reap what you sow energy that's come back to us? And also, what has ended for the 9? And so, just being able to take this time to think about those things and integrate them into our life, where we have this opportunity in November to be able to integrate the energy back into our lives in preparation for 2026. That'll be a lot of new energy again. And so, what we've already brought in this year and things that have changed and shifted this year, we'll want to use November to help us begin to integrate that before we step into 2026, where we have the potential of having more new energy come in. So we have 2 9 cycles this November. We also have 4 portal days. So where those 9 cycles are about building up the energy and being able to put it towards an intention, the portal days is to pull in the energy. And because these are resonating at a 2, we really want to have that be pulling in this energy, any of the resources, any of the people, conversations, activities that we need to help us integrate into our life the new energy and the things that have changed and shifted throughout this year. So we have 4 of these portal days in November. We do have 2 of them that are resonating at that 11-2. And so these 2 portal days, we will have to contend with some of that 11 energy, but I'm hoping that it's not as chaotic as it has been earlier in the year, because the energy of November itself is sitting at that 11, or sitting at that 2, not the 11. And we have the 0, that God energy, really enhancing that too. So hopefully these 11s won't be bothering us as much. But if you are aware that you have some polarization, some dualistic things happening in your life, you'll want to watch out for these days, because those are the days where it could just show itself to be either still a problem or could be showing you that it has moved on. So those are our portal days for November. And we do have some uh, moon days here. I wanted to see, oh, maybe I didn't put it in here. But we do have some, let me get that first before we do the moons, because that's new and I want to talk about that. But I want to talk about first the important astrology that we have for November. And so let me see if I can get our little chart here for the important astrology. Let's see. There we go. So we do have some important astrology for the month of November 2025. One of the things I want you to see right now is that this list is way smaller than it has been in previous months. And that's because we are mostly integrating this energy. We're not really working as hard to bring the energy into the space. And so we just have a few things that we want to be recognizing. We are still considered in retrograde season. So we do have several planets that are in retrograde, which means that energy is turned inward and we're having to look at ourselves inwardly. And in November, we have Mercury is going retrograde from the 9th until the 28th. So we'll want to be aware of that whenever we have the Mercury retrograde, especially when we have other planets, which we do right now, that are also in retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication. And so this can disrupt the communication that is happening just in a regular basis. So just slow down, make sure you're taking your time in your communication. Double check your emails, make sure that you have a script or you practice the conversations. Maybe don't have any really important conversations during this time period, because that's really what gets disrupted when we have Mercury retrograde. We also have Jupiter. So Jupiter has been the only one of like our big major planets that has not been in retrograde so far this retrograde season. And we do have Jupiter going retrograde in Cancer on the 11th in November. So, for anybody that has Cancer as a dominant energy in their chart, so you have it as a sun, a moon, and a rising, or rising in particular. So, I have Cancer rising. I know that Quality Reacts has Cancer as a sun sign. We've been able to use this Jupiter in Cancer energy to really project outward and get very big. And Cancer is really the whole, like the energy of home and nurturing. So what's been happening is we've been able to send our nurturing energy out very wide, and like making our family bigger, or our family setting bigger. As Jupiter is going into retrograde, we should expect to see that some of that family energy is coming back to us. We may need to turn some of the nurturing that we have been pushing out and giving to others. We may need to turn it in for ourselves. And this is for everybody. It's just going to be enhanced if you have strong Cancer energy in your astrological chart. But this retrograde is turning this energy inward. So it's expanding the feelings of home and security and nurturing within ourselves. And so that is starting in November. And I believe this goes all the way until February 2026. So we'll really want to use that energy for that. The other thing that we have in November that we want to be aware of is we do have Saturn going direct. So Saturn has been in retrograde. So right after, not right after, but during this Mercury retrograde and a little bit after Jupiter goes into retrograde, Saturn will go direct. And Saturn is all about structure. It's like discipline and structure. And right now it retrograded back into Pisces, where Pisces is this vibration of big, huge imagination. It's also where chaos energy comes from. So when Saturn is in Pisces, we know this energy because Saturn was in Pisces for 3 years prior to this. So we do know this, but this is an opportunity for us to put some structure and some discipline around this chaotic energy that has been coming in while Saturn has been in retrograde. The last thing that I'll point out here as part of this important astrology is we do have a Mercury Cazimi that's happening in Scorpio. This is when Mercury is conjunct with the sun. This a lot of times amplifies the communication. But right now at this November 18th, Mercury will be in retrograde. So this is going to have a different effect. On November 18th is where we could potentially have miscommunication, or the inability to communicate clearly being amplified. And especially because it's in the sign of Scorpio, which is like deep emotional conversations. So around November 18th and probably during this Mercury retrograde, you want to be avoiding really deep, important conversations, especially those that are tied to anything that is emotionally charged. If at all costs, avoid it. If you have to have those conversations, then go ahead and wait until you, and I just noticed this. Wait until here where Mercury is conjunct Venus in Scorpio. So this can, the 24th, this can help, Venus can help a little bit in lowering the emotional state of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So if you have to have some emotionally charged, very deep conversation during this Mercury retrograde, try and time it around the 24th. Not like we can time all of them, but just be aware that this is happening. So then if you do end up in these conversations, you can temper it or at least be more intentional. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this is I think the first time that I'm really including this in our regular breakdown of the month, are the moons. So every single month, we have 4 moons that are always going to happen. We always have a full moon and a new moon, which people are usually most aware of. But we also have a last quarter moon and a first quarter moon every single month. And they are tied to this 4 moon system. And so I want to start including these in our regular monthly breakdowns so that we can start beginning to use this energy and be more intentional about using the energy of the moon, which is extremely powerful energy. That moon energy changes the tides of the ocean and the movement of water. We in our body have a lot of water-based systems in our body. And so using this moon energy will be very beneficial for our healing. So especially healing within the body, so the physical body. And we're in a vibration now, and we will be through 2026 of needing to focus some on the physical body and the physical healing. So in general, whenever we have a new moon, this is when we are setting intentions. So it's just planting the seeds of what you want to come. It's creating the visualizations. It's really understanding how you want to use this energy that's getting drawn in during this new moon time. And then for first quarter moon, our focus is always on the actions that we can take, always in vibrational flow. We'll move this over just a little bit so my head isn't blocking that. And then for the full moon, this is where you want to recognize what is being illuminated. So what are you being shown? So what is being illuminated? Illumination. And then last quarter moon is always completion. So what is being completed or ended? And I think that's all I'll say about these for right now, but we will start working more with this moon energy. I'll begin to add and include more of this information within our monthly preparations and breakdowns. And yeah, we'll start using this also. So hopefully this video is getting you well prepared for November 2025. And if you're watching this after November 2025, it will help you to understand what you did and what you need to do, go back and do to be able to integrate all of this new energy that's coming into our space. So thank you for being here with me. We will continue to talk about this. We've almost made it to the end of 2025, and it'll be exciting to get to start to talk about 2026. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.